The wind was dry and hot on planet Core 7. Dust moved in long waves across the broken land. Old alien ruins stood like bones of a forgotten time. Rocks, strange towers, and broken machines were scattered across the valley. In the middle of this place stood a small human camper. V adjusted his helmet and walked slowly near a half-buried wall. He was the lead explorer for the science mission. His team had landed on this planet 4 days ago to study the alien ruins. Many believe Core 7 once belonged to an ancient race called the Velari. Their technology was lost during the First Galactic War. Ravi wiped dust off his scanner and looked at the readings. A strange energy pulse was still active below the ruins. He called his teammate on the comm minute. "I found something again. Same energy signature as yesterday. Come to Zone 3, I'm on the way," Minna replied. She was the team's biologist and closest friend to Ravi. They had worked together for years. She always said science without a little danger was boring. Ravi moved toward a large stone platform. His boots crushed some old glass-like material. He bent down and picked up a round device with strange markings. It was cracked but still glowing. As he turned it in his hand, he heard something behind him, stood up quickly, and looked around in the ridge above the platform. A figure was standing, a tall, slim woman with glowing blue skin. She wore armor that shimmered like silver. Her black hair moved slowly in the wind. She had no helmet, no weapon, and made no sound. Ravi felt his heart race. He raised his hand slowly and spoke into the comm again. "Minna, there's someone here. Not human. She's watching me from the East Ridge. Stay calm. Don't make sudden moves." "I'm almost there," Minna replied. The alien woman started walking down toward him. Her steps were smooth and silent. She stopped just a few feet away. Her silver eyes looked straight at him. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then she lifted her hand and pointed at Ravi's right arm. Ravi looked down. On his forearm, just below the wrist, was a round mark, a soft brown circle with a small line through it. He had seen it every day of his life. It was a birthmark. Or so he thought. The woman's voice was calm but deep. "Where did you get this mark?" Ravi was surprised. She spoke in the common language, but her tone was strange, like old music. He opened his mouth to reply, but nothing came out. He looked at the mark again. It was glowing faintly now. "I don't know," Ravi said slowly. "I've had it since I was born. It's just a mark." The woman tilted her head. Her eyes showed no anger, only deep interest. "That is not just a mark. That is a key. You carry something old, something forgotten." Before Ravi could ask more, the ground suddenly shook. A loud boom echoed through the valley. Dust flew into the air as something exploded near the edge of the ruins. The camp alarm started to ring in his helmet. "Ravi, get out of there. Something just hit the ground." "North of you," Minna shouted on comm. Ravi turned back toward the ridge, but the woman was gone. No sound, no trace, just wind and dust. He ran toward the camp as rocks began falling from the sky at the camp. Minna met him with worried eyes. She checked him for wounds and helped him remove his helmet. "Are you all right? What happened? Who was that?" she asked. Ravi was still breathing hard. He looked at his arm again. The mark was no longer glowing. "She asked about my mark. Said it's a key." Then something exploded and she vanished. Ravi said. Minna scanned his arm with her hand held. "Tool." The screen showed strange readings. "There's metal inside your skin. Very small, like nanometal. This is not just a skin mark. It's artificial." Ravi looked at her with confusion. "How can that be? I've had this since I was a baby. I was born on Earth. No one ever put anything in me." Minna opened her datapad and searched through old science records. After a few minutes, she found something strange. A project file marked as Echo Seed. Level 5 classified. "What is it?" Ravi asked. This project was from almost 90 years ago. It was started by a group of human scientists who worked with alien researchers. They wanted to mix technology with human biology. The goal was to store knowledge inside living people using tiny machines. The project failed and was shut down. No one knows what happened to the test subjects. Minna Ravi sat down on a rock, feeling a strange chill. "Are you saying I was one of them?" Minna shook her head. "You're too young. But maybe someone in your bloodline was part of it. Maybe the tech was passed down. Or maybe someone put it in you when you were a baby. We don't know yet. Ravi looked out toward the ruins again. The sun was setting behind the broken towers. His mind was full of questions. Who was she, and how did she know about the mark? He asked softly. Mina looked at him and said, "We need to go back there, together. Whatever this is, it's connected to something old, and that woman wasn't here by accident. She was looking for you that night." Ravi sat alone in his tent. He could not sleep. He kept thinking about the glowing eyes of the alien woman, her voice, and the way she looked at his arm. The mark he had ignored all his life was now the center of a mystery far bigger than he had ever imagined. Outside, the wind moved through the valley again, and far in the distance, in the shadows of the ruins, the silver eyes were watching the camp silently. The next morning, the air on Core 7 was quiet again. The dust had settled, but Ravi's mind was full of questions. He stood near the edge of the camp, holding a hot drink in his hand, staring at the ruins in the distance. The strange meeting with the alien woman still played in his mind again and again. Mina walked up to him, holding her data pad. She looked tired but focused. "I studied the readings from your arm again. That nanometal isn't random. It's shaped like a circuit. Very old design, but smart. It's connected to something, maybe to those ruins." Ravi nodded, and she knew about it. She didn't just notice it, she recognized it, as if she had seen it before. She called it a key. Mina sat down on a nearby crate. "I've been digging into old records, not just the files from our ship, but some leaked data from Earth's old science missions. You remember that Echo Seed project we talked about?" Ravi looked at her. "The one where they put tech into human DNA?" "Yes." She said, "I found something new. There was a small team that went missing during the final phase. They had traveled with a group of Velari allies. They were supposed to test something on a dead planet. The report said they never returned. Their last known coordinates are not far from here." Ravi stood up quickly. "You think they came to Core 7? I think they didn't just come here. I think they built something here, something hidden, maybe a lab, maybe more. And I think that woman is connected to it." Mina said. Ravi looked at his arm again. The mark was still there, quiet now, but it felt different, like it was waiting for something later that day. They packed supplies and left the camp together. Mina carried her scanner and tools. Ravi carried a small pulse rifle for safety. They followed the same path he had taken before, back to the ruins where he met the alien woman. As they moved through the rocky path, the ground shifted slightly under their feet. Ravi saw a large fallen pillar ahead. Half buried in dirt, strange symbols were carved into its surface. When they got close, Mina's scanner beeped loudly. "There's something below us, a power signal. Still active." And deep underground, she said. They searched the area and found a narrow crack in the stone floor. It looked like a hidden door. Ravi pressed his hand on the cold surface. Nothing happened. But when his mark touched the stone, the surface began to glow. A soft line of light spread outward. Then the floor opened slowly, revealing a dark stairway leading below. Mina turned on her light and smiled slightly. "Welcome to the Forgotten Lab." They moved down carefully. The air inside was dry but clean. The walls were smooth and made from black metal. Old lights flickered as they walked. Dust floated in the air. Strange machines stood along the walls, broken and silent. After 10 minutes of walking, they reached a large room filled with strange pods and glass tubes. Some were cracked, some still glowed faintly. In the center was a control panel covered in dust. Ravi walked over and placed his hand near it. Again, the mark on his arm began to glow. The panel came to life. Lights turned on round the room. A soft voice spoke from above. "User identity confirmed. Echo Seed sequence found. Welcome." Carrier Mina stepped back in shock. "It's recognizing you. This whole place was built to respond to the mark on your arm. That means someone from your past is connected to this lab." Ravi looked around slowly. The machine showed strange human and alien figures stored in memory. Files were stored inside crystals. Mina picked one up and scanned it. This lab was used to test memory transfer. They were storing knowledge into living cells, and not just from humans. "Look at this." They tried to combine human brain data with alien memory threads. "This was far ahead of anything we know on Earth today," she said. Ravi touched one of the pods. Inside was the skeleton of a small creature, but its head had a clear patch of human brain twistingly. The lights dimmed. A sound came from the hallway. Behind them, footsteps, soft but steady. Ravi raised his rifle. Minna pulled him behind a console. A moment later, the alien woman entered the room. She was calm, not aggressive. She looked at Ravi and said in the same deep voice, "You came back. That is good. The vault still breathes because of you." Ravi stepped forward slowly. "What is this place? Who are you really, and how do you know about my arm?" She looked at him quietly for a moment, then spoke. "My name is Tari. I was born long ago, before the last fire war. I am part Velari and part something else. I was created here in this lab as part of the old alliance. Humans and Velari once worked together. They built this place to protect their shared knowledge. They placed keys into chosen children across the stars. You carry one of those keys." Ravi was silent. "But I was born on Earth. No one ever told me anything about this. I didn't even know what this mark meant until you showed up." Tari nodded. "Not all knowledge survives, but blood remembers. The key inside you was passed through family. It was made to awaken when this lab was found again, and now the time has come. The old war is not over, it only sleeps. And someone is trying to wake it again." Minna stepped forward. "What do you mean, who is trying to wake it?" Tari looked at both of them. "There are those who fear the old alliance. They want to erase it from history. They have hunted down all other vaults. This one is the last, and your rival has sent a signal to the stars. They are coming." Ravi's heart beat faster. "Then we need to leave. Tell Earth what's here." Tari shook her head. "No, you need to finish what your ancestors started. There is more, a place shown on the walls above, a map that points to the seed world. That is where the final piece waits. If you do not go, the vault will fall, and the knowledge will be lost forever." Minna looked at Ravi. "We can't go without planning. We need help. This could be bigger than anything we've seen before." Ravi nodded. But deep inside, something had already changed. He knew he could not walk away now. The mark on his arm was more than skin. It was a call, a signal left by people who trusted the future. He looked at Tari. "Show us the way." She stepped forward and pointed to a panel on the far wall. With a wave of her hand, it opened, revealing a glowing map of stars. One of them blinked softly. "The seed waits there," she said. Ravi and Minna looked at the map. It was far, deep in an untraveled part of space, but they knew what had to be done. The journey was just beginning. Ravi stood in front of the glowing star map. The light coming from it painted the dark room in soft blue and white. He stared at the blinking point at the edge of the map. It was a small planet in a dead star system. There was no name, just a symbol shaped like a spiral. Tari looked at him and said, "That is the seed world. It is where the core of the Echo Seed project was hidden. Only one with the mark can enter its heart. That is why you were called here." Minna studied the map carefully. Her scanner showed that the planet was located in a zone marked as silent space. No trade ships passed near it. No colonies were built in that system. It was too far. Too quiet. This place was hidden well. No wonder no one ever found it. Minna said. Tari nodded. It had to be. After the war, many feared what was buried there. But now the enemies of peace are rising again. They will come for this vault, and when they do, everything here will be lost. The only hope is the seed world. You must reach it before they do." Ravi took a deep breath. He had never expected his quiet science mission would turn into something like this. His arm, which once carried a mark he never thought about, had brought him to a place filled with secrets and danger. Minna stepped beside him. "We'll need to go back to the ship and plan the trip. It's a long journey, supplies, routes, fuel, defense systems. We can't just fly in without knowing what's out there." Tari looked at them both. "You will not go alone. I will guide you. I know the path. I remember the gate." They returned to the surface using the stairs that had opened earlier. The desert outside was quiet again, but the wind carried a strange feeling now, like something was watching from far away. Back at the camp, Ravi called the ship's pilot, a quiet man named Ron. He had been monitoring the area from orbit. Ron was surprised when Ravi told him to prepare for long-distance travel. That system is far beyond our last charted zone. Are you sure we need to go there? Ron asked. Yes. And we have someone who will guide us. Bring the ship down. We'll be ready in 2 hours. Ravi said. By evening, the team had packed what they needed. The camp was shut down. The small research ship, the Aerolite, landed near the ruins. Its silver body reflected the last orange light of the day as the ramp lowered. Ron walked out and raised his eyebrows when he saw Tari. Didn't know. We were taking on passengers from another galaxy, he said with a short laugh. She's our key to what's coming. Trust her. Ravi replied. On board, Tari moved quietly through the ship. She touched the walls gently, as if she could feel something through the metal. In the control room, she stood near the star map and entered the path by hand. Her fingers glowed faintly as she connected with the ship's interface. Watched carefully. She doesn't need any translator. She speaks with the ship directly. This is not just old knowledge. It's part of her. Tari heard her and said, I was made to be the bridge. I'm part machine, part mine. I carry the voices of both sides. That is why I stayed alive when others fell. The Aerolite lifted off from the ground. The engines hummed quietly as the ship climbed into the sky. From the windows, Ravi watched Core 7 slowly grow smaller. The ruins below faded into the distance. Then the stars appeared, and space opened wide in front of them. It would take 5 jumps through warp carders to reach the silent system. During the journey, Ravi spent time studying old files from the vault. Mina worked with Tari to understand the old language and science notes. Ron handled the ship with focus, keeping a watchful eye on space traffic. On the third day, while they were crossing the second jump zone, something strange happened. The ship's lights flickered for a moment, alarms flashed for just a second, then went darker. And checked the screens. It's nothing serious, just interference. But that's strange. This area is supposed to be clear. Mina scanned the space around them. There's something behind us, a long-range sensor echo. Could be a ship. Could be more than one. Tari walked to the window. Her eyes narrowed. They followed the signal. I warn you, the enemies of the vault do not rest. They will chase the key until they have it or destroy it. Ravi stood beside her. Can we outrun them? We can reach the seed world before them if we do not stop again. She saved. Next to jumps were completed in silence. No other alarms sounded. But the feeling of being watched did not leave them. Finally, they reached the edge of the dead system. The stars around them were cold. Most of the planets were lifeless. Gray rocks. Then, they saw a small green and white planet floated near the center of the system. One single moon circled it slowly. No other ships were present, no satellites, no signs of cities or lights. Ravi looked at it with quiet awe. That's it. The seed world. As the ship entered orbit, a strange field passed over it. The lights dimmed, and the mark on Ravi's arm began to glow again. A soft pulse came from the planet, like a heartbeat. Tari looked at him. It knows you have come. The door will open soon. But be ready. The seed world is not empty. It was left sleeping. But sleep can break. The Aerolite began to descend through the thick white clouds. The scanner picked up signs of structures below the surface. Strange towers, machines, and deep chambers. As they landed on a soft field near a tall mountain, the engines grew quiet. A path of stone tiles led from the landing zone into the forest ahead. The path was old, but not broken. Mina turned to Tari. How can a planet like this stay hidden for so long? Because it was made to hide. Even light bends around it. The Watchers build it to wait for the key. And now the key is here. Ravi stepped down from the ship. The air was clean and warm. Birds flew in the sky above. Trees moved gently in the wind. It looked peaceful. But he knew that peace was only on the surface. The mark on his arm glowed brighter with each step. The real secret of Echo Seed waited ahead. The soft ground of the seed world felt alive under Ravi's boots. The grass was smooth and green. But there was something strange about it. It gave off a slight hum, like it carried a hidden energy. The air was fresh, almost to perfect. The trees moved with the wind, but there were no animals nearby. The silence of the planet was deep and endless. Ravi walked slowly on the stone path. Mina followed behind him, checking the scanner. Tari walked beside them with calm steps. Her eyes stayed fixed on the forest ahead. There is no signal here, Mina said. the scanner works. But it can't connect to the network. This whole planet is cut off. On purpose, Tari nodded. It is. A vault. Not just to store memory, but to keep it away from greedy hands. What you see above is only the shell. The real sea lies below. They walked for nearly an hour until they reached a large gate built into the side of the mountain. The gate was made from black crystal that reflected their faces in strange shapes. There were no buttons, no controls, just a flat wall with strange lines carved into it. Travi stepped forward. As he raised his hand, the mark on his arm began to glow again. He placed his palm on the cold surface. A soft hum rose from the gate. The crystal started to shift, the carvings moving like flowing water. The gate opened, and inside was a long hallway, made from the same black crystal. It was dimly lit, but as they walked in, the walls began to shine. Symbols glowed on both sides. Some were human letters, others were alien marks. Together they formed a pattern that told a story. Mina stopped to read the symbols. This is a record. It tells of the Alliance, how humans and Velari shared knowledge, how they used memory seeds to protect their worlds. This vault is the final creation of that alliance. The most powerful seed was hidden here. Ravi walked forward, feeling the light from the walls pass over him. The deeper they went, the stronger the glow became. At last, they reached a wide circular chamber. In the center of the chamber was a massive machine, shaped like a tree. Its base was thick metal, but its branches were wires and light. Hanging from each branch were glowing pods, dozens of them. Some were dull, some were bright, some were cracked. This is the heart of the seed, Tari said. Each pod carries memory, not just of people, but of entire worlds, science, culture, language, even emotions. They were stored here to survive the wars. Ravi walked up to the base of the machine. There was a slot in the middle shaped exactly like the mark on his arm. He reached out and pressed his forearm into the slot. The machine lit up. A low sound filled the room. One by one, the glowing pods began to shift suddenly. A voice spoke from the ceiling. It was soft but strong, not robotic. It sounded human. Welcome. Bearer of the mark, access approved. Seed memory activation and progress. Lights began to move along the walls. A platform rose from the floor on the far side of the room. A small sphere floated above it. Spinning slowly, Tari walked up beside Ravi. That is the core, the final seed. It holds the mind of the one who created this vault. He was the last of the Alliance leaders. His mind was stored before the war ended. With that seed, the knowledge can be shared again. The Alliance can be rebuilt. Mina stepped forward carefully. If this falls into the wrong hands, it could also be used to control minds. What's stored in that core is not just science. Its power. Suddenly, the lights in the room dimmed. A cold wind blew through the chamber. The walls flickered, and the machine let out a deep crackling sound. Tari's eyes turned sharp. Something is wrong. We are not alone here. Ravi turned around, scanning the shadows. From the side hallway, a shape moved, then another. Figures began to step into the chamber. They were tall and twisted, half machine, half creature. Their bodies were built from broken vault tech, their eyes glowing red. Mina stepped back. What are those? Tari pulled a small sphere from her belt. It opened into a glowing disc. Vault Guardians. But these have been corrupted. The system failed long ago, and some creatures escaped from their pods. They have lived here, changed by the dark energy. Now they guard what they do not understand. The creatures began to hiss. One of them rushed forward. Ravi grabbed his pulse rifle and fired. The blast hit the creature's chest, but it kept coming. Tari threw the glowing disc, which exploded. With light, the creature froze and fell to the floor. More began to come from all sides. The chamber echoed with their sounds. We need to reach the core. Now Tari shouted. Ravi ran to the floating sphere. He reached out and grabbed it. The moment he touched it, a bright light filled the room. The mark on his arm flared with heat. He felt a wave of memory hit his mind, voices, pictures, feelings. All at once Tari pulled him back. Do not let it take all of you. Control it. Use only what you need. Mina fired her tool at another creature. Sparks flew as it crashed to the floor. The others slowed as the light from the seed core grew stronger. The creatures covered their faces and backed away. Ravi focused his thoughts. He saw the image of the creator of the vault, a man with silver eyes, standing beside a Velari leader. He spoke of peace. He warned of those who would rise to destroy unity. He left the seed in the hope that one day someone would come who still believes in the Alliance. Ravi pulled his hand back. The core stopped glowing. The creatures were gone. The chamber was silent again. Mina looked at him. Are you all right? I saw everything. The truth, the history, the names, the warning. We were meant to come here. But we are not safe yet. Others know now. They are coming. Ravi said. Tari nodded. Then we must prepare. What you hold is the last light of the old world. If it is lost, all will fade. But if it is shared, the stars may shine together again. They stood in the middle of the vault, breathing hard. The fight was over, but the real danger had just begun. For above, in the cold dark sky, something moved through space. A large ship, watching, waiting. The dark shapes of the enemy ships blocked the sky above the seed world. Ravi, Mina, and Tari stood near the landing site, watching the vessels move in formation. The ships belonged to the Karnas, a rogue alien faction known for wiping out peaceful settlements. Their goal was clear: destroy the vault and erase the old alliance. For Ravi's pulse quickened. The mark on his arm glowed softly. It was a signal, a call for strength and courage. He looked at Tari, who stood firm despite the danger. We have little time. The Karnas will land soon. We must protect the vault and the seed inside. She said. Mina checked the ship's systems. The aerolite is ready to lift off, but we can't outrun that fleet in space. We have to fight here. Ravi nodded. Then we fight to hold the line. This place is our last hope. As the Karna ships landed, armored soldiers poured out, their weapons glowing with deadly energy. The ground trembled under their heavy steps. The air was filled with the sound of charging machines and distant explosions. Ravi raised his rifle and fired. Mina used her tools to hack into nearby vault defenses. Old turrets and energy shields flickered back to life. The vault had defenses, but many were damaged from years of silence. Tari moved quickly, activating special devices she carried. Her weapons were strange, shaped like discs that hummed with power. She used them to disable enemy machines and slow the soldiers' advance. The battle was fierce. Karna soldiers were strong and well-trained. They pushed forward with relentless force. But Ravi, Mina, and Tari fought with a will born from the history they carried. They fought not just for themselves, but for the future. Ravi's arm burned with heat as his mark glowed brighter. It seemed to give him strength. Each shot he fired was more accurate. Each move faster and sharper. He felt a connection to the vault, to the seed, to the alliance of long ago. In the middle of the fight, a huge Karna's war machine appeared. It was a towering robot with armor plates and glowing red eyes. Its weapons fired heavy blasts that shook the ground and tore through the vault's defenses. Ravi aimed his rifle at the machine, but his shots bounced off its armor. Mina threw a grenade that exploded near its feet but did little damage. The creature moved closer, crushing anything in its path. Tari shouted, "We need to use the core. It can activate the Guardian." Ravi understood. The Vault's Guardian was a massive robot designed to protect the seed world, but it had been shut down for Centauri's together. They ran back to the core chamber. The glowing tree-shaped machine waited silently. Tari touched the control panel and started the activation sequence. Lights flash. Power surged through the vault circuit. Suddenly, the Guardian robot rose from a hidden bay. Its metal body gleamed under the vault lights. It had 4 arms, each armed with heavy weapons. Its eyes glowed blue. The Guardian stepped forward and charged toward the Karna's war machine outside. The two giants clashed with a thunderous roar. Blasts of energy lit the sky. Metal screeched as they fought. Ravi and Mina watched from the control room. The Guardian is holding the line, Tari said, but it can't do this forever. Outside, the battle raged on. Karna's soldiers tried to retreat, but were caught between the vault defenses and the Guardian robot. The fight was brutal, and Ravi felt a sudden sharp pain in his arm. The mark glowed fiercely, then dimmed. He looked down and saw the mark fading. "No," he whispered. "The connection is breaking." Tari looked at him with worry. "The bond between the key and the vault is fragile. If it breaks, the seed will be lost. You must keep the link alive. Ravi clenched his fist. How do I do that? Focus on the memories and the hope inside you. Let them guide you, she said. Ravi closed his eyes. He thought about the ancient alliance, the peace they dreamed of, the sacrifices made. He felt a warm light growing inside him. Slowly, the mark began to glow again back outside. The Guardian robot fought fiercely, pushing back the Karna's war machine with a powerful blast. It destroyed the enemy machine's weapon arm. The war machine stumbled and finally collapsed as the Karna's soldiers began to retreat. But Ravi knew they would return. This was only a battle, not the war. He said, "We have won today, but the chain is broken. The alliance is shattered. We must rebuild it piece by piece." Mina helped Ravi to his feet. "You did well. The mark is stronger now, but we need allies. More than just us." Ravi looked around the vault. The pods still glowed softly. Life waited inside. The future depended on them awakening it. "We will find allies," Ravi said. "We will rebuild the alliance for all the races who want peace." Tari smiled. "Then the seed will grow, and the stars will shine brighter once more." As the sun rose over the seed world, Ravi, Mina, and Tari prepared for the journey ahead. The broken chain of the past could be fixed, but it would take courage, hope, and the strength of Mannion. It would start here, with them. The silence in the vault was broken only by the soft hum of machines still alive. Ravi, Mina, and Tari stood near the glowing core. Their breathing was heavy, but their eyes were sharp. They knew the battle was not over. Something darker waited. Deeper in the vault, Tari looked around carefully. "The guardians we saw are not all that lives here. Some things remember the old war. They hide in the shadows. They do not forgive." Ravi gripped his pulse rifle tightly. "What are we dealing with? Creatures made from broken machines and old fears. They were once protectors. Now they are twisted by lost time and anger. We call them the Forgotten." Tari said. Mina's eyes widened. "Can we fight them?" Tari nodded. "Yes, but we must be smart. They hate light and sound. Their senses are sharp, but their minds are broken. They attack what moves fast and shines bright. We must use their fear." Ravi felt a chill. The vault, built to save life, had become a trap, and they were walking deeper into it. The hallway ahead was dark and narrow. The walls showed old markings of the alliance, but many were scratched or broken. They moved carefully, listening for any sound. The soft drip of water echoed somewhere far away. Suddenly, a low growl came from the shadows. A shape moved fast across the wall. Ravi raised his rifle and fired. The blast hit something solid, but the creature vanished before they could see it clearly. "Keep moving," Tari said. "They will try to surround us." Mina switched on her portable light. The bright beam cut through the darkness. Shadows twisted and flickered. More growls answered them from all sides. As they walked, the floor began to shake. From cracks in the walls, small machines crawled out, broken parts, wires, and glowing red eyes. The Forgotten were gathering. Ravi fired again. A creature jumped from the ceiling and landed near him. Its face was a mask of metal and broken glass. It hissed and reached out with long claws. Ravi pushed it back with his rifle butt. Mina threw a flare at another creature. The bright light forced it to retreat. Tari threw a small orb into the middle of the group. It exploded with a pulse of sound. The creatures froze, covering their ears. "We need to reach the core room," Tari said. "That is where we can control the vault. I can try to shut down the Forgotten if we get there." The group moved faster. The creatures followed, but their attacks grew weaker in the light. Tari's special devices helped keep them back, but the danger was close at last. They reached a large door. It was sealed shut with an old lock system. Tari touched the control panel. Her mark glowed softly, and the door slid open slowly. Inside was a control room filled with consoles, screens, and strange devices. Many were damaged, but some still blinked with life. Tari moved to the main console and began working quickly. "If I could reactivate the vault's defense systems, I can stop the Forgotten from attacking us, but it will take time." Ravi and Mina guarded the door. The creatures waited outside, growling and trying to find a way in. Minutes passed like hours. Tari's hands moved swiftly over the controls. The room hummed louder. Lights flickered on the walls and floor. Suddenly, the machines around them came alive. Energy beams shot out from hidden turrets. The Forgotten screamed as they were hit by light and sound weapons. The creatures fled back into the darkness. Ares smiled softly. We have time now. But not much. Ravi felt relief but knew they were not safe yet. What else can the vault do? Tari looked at the glowing core in the center. The core can awaken the seed. It can release the knowledge stored here. But it needs a link, a living key. That is why you were brought here. Ravi stepped forward. What happens if I connect? Tari nodded. You will see memories, knowledge, and feelings from those who created the vault. You will understand their hopes and fears. But it is a heavy burden. Not all can handle it. Minna looked at him with concern. Are you sure you want to do this? Ravi took a deep breath. I have to. This is bigger than me now. If we fail, everything is lost. He walked to the core and placed his arm inside the slot again. The mark glowed brightly. The chamber filled with light. Voices spoke in many languages. Images flashed before his eyes. He saw stars burning, ships flying, people working side by side. He felt the pain of war and the hope of peace. The memories of the Alliance filled his mind, but then came darkness, shadows of fear and anger. The enemy who wanted to destroy the vault. The warning was clear. They were not just fighting to protect knowledge. They were fighting for survival. Ravi's heart raced. He felt the weight of history on his shoulders. When the light faded, he stepped back. Breathless. Mina helped him. What did you see? All of it. The Alliance, the war, the enemies, and the future. We must be ready. They are coming. Tari looked at him proudly. You are the key, but also the shield. The seed will grow only if you protect it. Suddenly, the ground shook violently. The vault's alarm sounded. Red lights flashed. The Forgotten were returning with reinforcements. Rav grabbed his rifle. We need to move. Now they ran from the control room as the creatures attacked. The defense turrets fired behind them, keeping the creatures at bay. Dust and debris fell from the ceiling. The path to the surface was blocked by rubble. Tari quickly found a side exit. They squeezed through narrow tunnels filled with strange machines. The Forgotten howled in frustration outside. The bright light of the seed world greeted them. The calm was broken by the sound of ships in the sky. The enemy had found them. Ravi looked up. Dark ships moved in formation above the mountain. The battle was far from over, but inside him, the mark on his arm glowed stronger than ever. The seed was alive, and so was hope. The seed world was quiet again. The battle had ended, but the sky still held scars from the fight. Smoke rose from distant fires. The land was bruised but alive. Ravi stood at the edge of the vault, looking out at the horizon. The rising sun painted the clouds in gold and red. It felt like a new beginning. Mina was checking the ship's systems. She looked tired but smiled. The aerolite is ready for the next trip. We can leave when you say. Tari stood beside Ravi. Her eyes were calm but strong. The seed has been awakened. The Alliance is no longer just a memory. It lives inside you and those who will join. Ravi looked at his arm. The mark glowed softly, a reminder of the journey they had taken. The knowledge he had seen in the vault was now part of him. He was the keeper of the seed, the hope of the future. We need to find others, Ravi said. Allies who want peace and want to protect the legacy. The Karnas will not stop. They will come back with more forces. We must be ready. Tari nodded. There are still many who remember the old Alliance, hidden worlds, secret groups. We must seek them out. Together, we can build a chain strong enough to resist any threat. Mina added. I will prepare the ship for long journeys. We will need to travel far. Some of these allies may be in places no one has visited for centuries. Ravi smiled, feeling hope rise in his chest. For the first time in his life, he understood the meaning of the mark on his arm. It was more than a sign. It was a promise. Three of them boarded the aerolite. The ship rose smoothly into the sky as they left the seed world behind. Ravi looked at the stars ahead. The path was uncertain, but the future was bright during the long journey. Ravi shared the memories from the seed with Mina and Tari. They learned about the leaders of the old Alliance, the great battles, and the peace that followed. The stories were filled with courage, sacrifice, and hope. Day as they crossed a quiet star system. A signal came through the ship's communication channels. It was weak but clear. A voice spoke in the old Alliance language, calling for help and offering friendship. Ravi's heart quickened. This is the start. The chain is growing. Menace set a course toward the signal. Let's find these allies and show them the seed. Together, we can protect the legacy. Tari smiled. The dawn of a new alliance is here. We will not let the past be forgotten. As the ship moved toward the unknown, Ravi felt the mark on his arm pulse gently. It was a sign of life, of hope, and of a future built not on war, but on trust. Stars awaited them. A new chapter was beginning. The story of the Alliance, reborn through those who dared to believe in that story. Ravi's mark would shine brightest of all.